The Highland Games are a time-honored tradition that date back in Scotland to 2000 BC. That's 4,000 years ago. And you know how you can tell? Because all of the equipment they used were rocks and stones. It's essentially a series of events designed to test man to see who is the strongest in the village. So you know essentially where this has to go next. We're going to Scotland, baby! Do you think I'm supposed to wear underwear with the kilt tomorrow?
100%.
This is a lot more people than I was expecting. The number of people that I'll be wearing a kilt in front of has now gone up exponentially. Well, until this comes out.
But to be honest, a kilt was the least of my worries. These events are going to be crazy. So I met up with Coringa Conway, and he helped explain to me how to put on the kilt. No, not for the kilt. He explained to me the events.
Start with braemar, which is a 25-pound ball. From there, we're going to go to heavyweight for distance, which is going to be like a 56-pound bag. And then we're going to go to caber. Caber literally means a tree. So it's probably about an 18-foot pole. We're going to flip that guy. That's going to be one of the fun ones. We're going to pick up stones. We have a strongman caber as well. Okay. So it's a 8x12 basically piece of timber that's about 300-something pounds that you're going to flip. So
300-something pounds.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really big.
What? That thing is huge. Speaking of which, so is literally every other person here. We kicked off the games by throwing stuff, man's ultimate test of strength. Now there's 4 different types of throws. There's braemar, there's stone put, heavyweight bag toss, and a lightweight bag toss. Everything here is for distance. Throw it as far as you can, and then you mark down who throws it the furthest. It's my favorite part about the Highland Games. It's pretty simple. Just be strong, throw thing, win, and that's it.
I'm definitely not going to come in first in this event, but there are more events.
Also, you're welcome, guys. I did wear the underwear.
I did shot put in high school, and I threw for 1 practice, and that was it. So, we'll see how that goes.
It went about as far as you would expect from a one-time high school practice shot put thrower to go. Everybody else's, they went a lot further.
That guy's the only guy who means it when he says, I can't trust you as far as I can throw you.
As you can probably tell from the difference in distance between their throws and mine, I was not in first, nor second, and based off of rough calculations and estimations that I made in my own very smart brain, not in third either, or in fourth. Sixth is a possibility, but I think seventh would accurately place me. I think seventh would be a fair assessment. After we finished a whole bunch of throwing, we moved on to a different test of strength, which was backhold, a style of Scottish wrestling. I was wrestling with these guys on throwing way. Let's just put it that way. I made a different video about it. Anyway, that video will be out next week. Sorry for the cliffhanger, but you know, it is Scotland after all. There's cliffs everywhere. But I'm gonna let you know that thing brutalized me. My back, my knee, I mean, look at it. It's bigger than half the rocks we were throwing. Our next event is going to be strength-based. That 300-pound timber piece that you saw earlier, we're flipping that bad boy. Full transparency, this was the first event I was nervous for. The thing's 300 pounds, but the Scottish, sorry, did that look easy for him? The Scottish people in general, though, have always had this exuberant bravery behind them. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna take some of that bravery on. That may have been my downfall. For this event, you have 60 seconds to flip the timber as many times as you can. It doesn't really pick up how loud this was, but this shook the entire building. It went so well, in fact, that it ended up in first until everybody else went. Then I ended up in second. At least it wasn't last. That's loud. Good news is, after that performance, I probably jumped up a couple spots. Bad news is, now we lift stones over our heads. It's 1 point to get it to your chest, 2 additional points if you lift it over your head. You've got 60 seconds. You doing this?
Oh yeah.
Have you done this before?
Oh yeah. I do this shit every day at the gym.
This is your thing.
This is my thing.
Nice.
Out of anything in here, this is my thing.
Let's do it. That is a big boy. Which, I'm not gonna lie, got me pretty amped up. I was ready to pick up some stones like a dude who needed stones put on a shelf. So at this part, the audio is gonna be a little out of sync. Just trust me, it's exactly what I said.
I am William Wallace, and I see a whole army of my countrymen. They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Yeah, and then this guy just blew through all of them like a kid at a birthday party with a whole bunch of wishes. There was apparently one event that trumps all events when it comes to the Highland Games, and that's the caber.
I'm gonna be way quicker to tell you to drop it. Please stop worrying about that.
Not only is it the most highly regarded event within the Highland Games, but it's also the most dangerous.
Anybody else want to pass on caber? Or want to try it?
Alright, so we'll keep caber in. If you want to pass, there's no shame, there's no nothing. Like, don't even fret about that.
Do I look like a freaking fretter to you guys, though? I'm nervous as hell. I mean, I fretted a little bit. Then Coringa pulled me to the side and told me this.
Terrible at all the different like pros and bad day or whatever it is. Win caber, won the day. It's the one. Yeah.
And I actually didn't have the worst showing when it came to the caber's practice round. Granted, it's a lot lighter and smaller. That was my bad. That was my bad, guys. Like I mentioned, this event is kind of terrifying. One, because you could drop a 175-pound log on your head, but two, as someone who's never done this before, seeing people who are veterans at doing this and are still dropping the log right next to their head. And yes, I was afraid. I was very afraid, in fact. But can a man still be brave when he's afraid? Well, a wise man once said that's the only time a man can be brave. I just realized I should probably tell you how this whole thing works. Well, you lift up the tree vertically, get a running start, and flip the caber. In order to get a better score, you want to flip the caber in a way that's directly in front of you. So like at a 12 o'clock score would be ideal. And if you think it looks hard, well guess what? It's even harder than it looks. If you can't successfully flip the caber, they take the angle where it was closest to flipping, and that's your score. But to be honest, I could care less about that score. I'm gonna get it next time. I want to flip the dang thing. When you've got it, it's not scary at all. But if you feel like it's like all over the place, it's terrifying. And with my second round frankly looking a lot like my first, I knew this final throw was going to be the last opportunity to possibly win the Highland Games. So I watched and took careful note of everybody else's form, and then placed myself under the heaviest log in the building. Yeah, as you can probably guess, I didn't win. I didn't win the Highland Games. But I did it, and I'm pretty proud of that. That's pretty sick. Overall, what I didn't realize was how much the Highland Games were like, they were pretty much the Olympics for a completely different area, for a different build of human. a build of human that I much more closely relate to. I think even Adams, my last name, is Scottish. This was incredibly fun. I was so glad that I had this experience. Would I do it again? 100%. It was a blast. Big thank you to Coringa Conway for putting this thing together. The Iron Kilt event was fantastic. Big shout out to Scotland for letting me fly in, and it only took 2 hours. I don't know how they figured that out, but you know, I got there. I wasn't in Scotland, just so you guys know. I was in Orlando. It looks like Scotland though. I just did a good job of fooling you all, you dunces. Oh no, we lost the Highland. Because now we're down the escalator. I do have a question though. Oh, it's fine. I'll escalator. Yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe or I'll drop a log on you. Ugh.